You've heard people share their stories of inspiration, of achievement. And you often wonder that what is with these creatives, with these artist types, that they can come up with these ideas and innovation and say, Eureka. Well, I'm going to deconstruct this for you, because I believe innovation is part of the human understanding, human consciousness. You don't have to be an artist or a designer to innovate. All it takes are a few steps, and hopefully I'm going to guide you through those and basically conclude with how design can help you have more eureka moments in life. Now, if you take a look at this slide, you'll see a bathing man, but there's more to this picture than just that. Now, according to a widely popular anecdote, Vitruvius was appointed to create a crown for the temple of the king Hiero II. There was a little problem with the whole affair. The crown had to be made in pure gold. But Vitruvius was infamous for being a little cheat, if you may. He would mix silver with gold and sell it at the price of gold. So basically, this guy, if you can anybody from the audience tell me who this is? This is Archimedes, by the way. He termed the coin Eureka. Now, he was appointed to find out whether the crown was of pure gold. Now, the only problem with figuring that out was that Archimedes could do it with regular objects. He could tell whether they were pure by calculating their density, but this crown was of an irregular shape. It had to be broken and melted, but that was not possible because it was for a temple. So, lost in thought, as many of us are in bathrooms, he submerged himself in a bathtub. And if you look at this picture, you can see he's very casual about things. He's looking up. That's what you look like when you are having an idea. You're inspired, you look up, I'm going to figure this out somehow. And he realized that when he went into the bathtub, the level of the water rose. And he was like, oh my God, now I've got something here. Can't figure this out, but something has happened. And he came out of the bath, went inside again, and saw the level rise. And he was like, Eureka! I found it, the level of the water rose to exactly the same volume that my body has. Now I have this incredible way of finding the volume of irregular objects. And as the anecdote goes on to tell us, he ran naked in the streets, screaming, Eureka! I found it. Obviously, he didn't have Twitter or Facebook those days. Otherwise, he could have just sat in his room and updated his status, Would have saved him that much trouble. So, moving on, this is what he did. This is the working model from that discovery. Now, that was innovation. That was innovation which was caused by inspiration. Now, how do you go from inspiration to innovation? In the 17th and 18th century, it was the time of invention, when somebody was creating something new. Somebody came up with a light bulb, somebody came up with a completely new theory. But in today's world, everything new which is being done is done on the basis of innovation. What can lead you to innovation? Anybody has any guesses in the audience? What field of science, math, or engineering is it that can lead you to innovate? Is there such a thing? Can anyone scream anything at random as well? Well,
The ability to be wrong.
Yes, exactly. But there is a whole way of doing things. It's almost become a cliche, but it's called design. Design leads you to innovate. This is what designers do. And that is why designers are important in today's world, and that is why I'm going to tell you how design and designers can make the life of a person and maybe the life of a country much better. How to find inspiration? Now, you can't go around like, okay, inspiration, maybe it's around here in this corner, or maybe it's sitting there. Inspiration is always here, and it starts from here. And there is a process you can follow to achieve that. Now, if you take a look at these visuals, I'll guide you step by step. Don't be afraid to try something new. That's a very important criteria, I would say. Don't be afraid to try something new, because when you do something new, you come out of your comfort zone, you come out of your conditioning, you come out of your thought patterns which make you do things in the same way every day. There is a certain repetition, there is a certain mold which forms here, and you have to break it. To do that, try something new. Go out to a place you've never been to. Watch a movie, watch a Mithunda flick for a change. If you've not done something like that. Go to a friend's house, you can't tolerate much. But that's something new. What happens is when you do new things, new ideas can originate. And that is how it all starts. Also, never underestimate the power of your own dreams. As Einstein had himself remarked, that imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowing something is one thing, and then going beyond what you know and trying to see things which don't exist in textbooks, in maybe the written world, or maybe what people tell you, that is something which imagination does. It gives you wings. It's not just Red Bull that gives you wings. It's imagination that gives you wings as well. So always believe in your own imagination. People may say you're stupid, but once you've done it, you can say, now look who's stupid. You know, that kind of thing. So moving on, meet people. There is a trend these days, people are on social networks and we think we are in touch. But are we really? How long has it been that you've met your high school buddy? You've maybe poked him on Facebook, or maybe sent him a tweet sometime. Meet people face to face, because there is a lot that goes into communication which is beyond text and voice. There is an entire body language that goes into play. When you go to somebody and you just say, you know, it's been a long time, how have you been? Then there is a contact, you're meeting that person, maybe you hug that person, and you're like, okay, we are well. You don't even have to say that. That person has seen you, you've seen that person, and you know all is well. So meet people, that's really important. Also, you should never think that, you know, being with people all the time or being in parties will lead you to innovation. Solitude is important. Spend time with yourself. Now, what is solitude? Solitude should not be mistaken with being lonely or being alone. Solitude is when you're with yourself, but in that oneness with yourself, you're still connected with the world around you. You feel a certain oneness, a certain togetherness with people, with animals, with birds, with trees around you. That's solitude. Being lonely is feeling disconnected from the world, feeling miserable, feeling that, you know, I'm just with me, there's nobody else, I have no friends. So solitude is important. Have a role model, whoever it is for you. Maybe it's opera, maybe it's John Lennon, or maybe it's your uncle or your mom. Have role models. They have lived their life. They've gone through success, they've gone through failures. And their failures, their success, their story can teach you something. But there is one catch in this. When you're following a role model, don't try to become that person. Don't try to become John Lennon when you take him as a role model, because it's your own story. You're writing and creating your own story. You're creating and paving your path as you go along. Have role models, but don't become your role model. In the end, it has to be your own story that will unfold. Another step is follow your heart. It's important, because this thing, or wherever it is, you know, it can give you that gut feeling when your reason and logic doesn't guide you. The Wright brothers, right? The whole world was telling you, are you people idiots? You know, if God wanted us to fly, He would have given us wings. Are you out of your mind? Like, we just thought, you know, we could fly. So they trusted their heart. They maybe crashed once, but there we are. We always take flights and we don't give it a second thought. So, inspiration leads to innovation. What can you do once you're inspired? Should you sit somewhere and feel happy? Okay, I'm inspired, you know, I'm special now. Good. No, innovation should lead to something, right? Inspiration should lead to innovation. So once you get ideas, share your ideas. What sharing does is, it opens up a whole new channel. Now, I'll skip this slide first. Now, from the audience, I would like to know if anybody has a clue who invented the light bulb. Hear it loudly. And if you can tell us a story, he failed how many times? Okay, 2,000 times, 1,000 times. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to burst this bubble today. Edison did not create the light bulb. It was Joseph Swan, who was a British scientist who invented the incandescent lamp. And it was his home in London that was the first house in the world to be lit by a light bulb. When Edison was probably searching for a matchstick, where did I keep it? I need to light this candle. What Edison did was, he was smart. He met Joseph Swan, went to London, and told him, this is pretty cool, why don't you get into business with me? Maybe I can sell these in the US. There's a big market there. And if you doubt all this, you can always go to Wikipedia and search this. So Thomas Edison went back to US. He was a designer more than a scientist. He improved upon the design of Joseph Swan. And he created a light bulb which was cheap to mass produce. And he sold it in the US, and he was a good communicator. He came up with this brilliant story that, I tried 1,000 times, and I tried human hair, coconut fiber, blah blah, and tungsten it was. And that is what we believe today. So there is a certain power in your stories. If you have conviction in the heart, you can make believe.